This is me finishing the Poochmobile, and I am going to do the tin ceiling today. I didn't do videos for a lot of this stuff because there's people smarter than me that have made videos. So when I go onto the GoPro, I'll show you some of the stuff I did, which is different from some of those videos. But today I'm going to show you how to do a tin ceiling because I couldn't find anyone that did tin ceilings. There's a couple things you need to do first. You need to cut out for any holes you're going to have for lights, for ceiling fans, for showers, for whatever you have up on the ceiling. You want to keep a box for all the little pieces because they're really sharp, and first thing I did was cut my finger. You want to wear gloves because the edges are sharp. A link below the cutting tool that I used. It's pretty easy, but you can't get around corners. To do a hole in the center, you have to, to do a hole for a light, you have to drill a little hole first to get the scissors in there. But I'll put the GoPro on my head and sort of show you all that. The furring strips on the ceiling have to be done different because you're going to, these are 24 by 24 squares, and you're going to want to screw the tins in. They overlap by about 1/2 inch. I'll show you how I measured to make sure that those furring strips are in the right place. What else? I think that might be everything, but the GoPro will cover anything I'm not covering here. And Bear is going to supervise. He's very lonely because Wolfie died on Saturday, but we're planting a cherry tree where I buried him. Okay. I will sign off for now and put the GoPro on my head. So my GoPro battery was dead and it seems to be taking forever, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so these are the tin pieces that I've cut already. You can see how that one is bent. That's going to go on one side. That goes in the middle where the fan is, and then the other side, and then the next row, that hole there is for a light. And then I still have more to go. I'll show you how I drilled the hole. Put a piece of wood under it so you can step on it. Then you put your drill where you want it to go. I need 2 hands to do it. And you have a hole. Now we're going to cut the tin in there. Yeah. Now we're going to cut the tin. So you have to put this in here and cut. What I did, I made this little circle, and this circle is the size of my lights because the lights are going to fit up in there. And I drew the cross hatching because I want my lights to sit in the center of here. So then you're going to draw that line around on your tin. And now I'm going to cut the tin. So after you make the hole in the tin, then you can get your scissors, your tin clippers in there, and you're just going to cut. It's not easy. It's not that it's a lot of pressure that it takes. It's hard to manipulate the tin around, the scissors around the tin. For me, I need to go on the outside of the orange line to make sure that the light fits. The tin is very sharp, so you should wear scissors. You should wear gloves. I had gloves on, but then I forgot to put them back on, and I'm not going to until I'm finished with this. Now, I did not go on the outside of the orange line. I did my best, but it didn't work. So then you make another pass. This thing is very sharp. You have a box for the tin scraps because if you step on them or if somebody steps on them, they will hurt. So now I have to go around it again and make it a little bit bigger. This piece is very sharp. Put it in your box of tin trash. Now you want to take and make sure your light fits. These tin pieces have a right side and a wrong side. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you choose for right or wrong. You just want to make sure they all have the same right or wrong because it has to do with where they're up. And doesn't that look nice? You can't even tell it's a light. I might actually put all 8 lights up. Initially I was just going to use 6. All right, that piece is done. This is what the ceiling looks like. You can see I laid the tiles and then I drew this line where the edge was, and that means that the actual place where the screw is going to go is here, because there's a little bit of like 3/8 to a 1/2 inch overlap. So I did that on each one to make sure that these things were lined up. I'll give you a master view. That's the whole ceiling. And you want to put your wires in place. I did not have this accurately done. You can see there's holes. You want to have the wires before you put those cross mounts up. You can see that I did it in the ones that go from front to back are one long piece. And they are nailed to where the cross beams are on the van. They did not, those cross beams did not fall 24 inches. That's why I had to add those other pieces. And the way I fixed them was pocket hole screws. You can see it there. Now my ceiling is going to wrap around here. So I think it comes to about here, and then it'll meet the wall and it's all going to be white. I think that's how it is. Okay, so I've put the first coat of primer on, and now I'm going to put on the back. Now I'm going to put it on the front. So that is the tin ceiling. You can see I bent the wood around the curves. It's 3/4 inch by 1/4 inch pieces of wood that I painted white. Then before I painted them white, I soaked them in hot water overnight. Then I put them in a mold that I sliced it to get the curve and clamped them in there. And then I painted them, and then I screwed them in place. This side, I didn't do it on this side because I thought my cabinets were going to go all the way up, but then they didn't, and I just wasn't about to redo it because it was a pain in the ass. Anyway, that's from that view. And then from this view, because of the fact that it waves, when this was attached, you could still see gray shadows. And because we're so close where we can see it sideways as opposed to a ceiling that's really high, it showed little black spots. So I filled that in with this white stuff. It was the same white stuff that I installed the flat shower with. And so that you didn't see any of that grayness, and it just looked really pretty. So the ceiling is like a beautiful shade of white, even though it is not showing up as a beautiful shade of white here. Anyway, that is the finished ceiling.